What's up, guys? Mindware here, or Christian, and today we have a special little thing in the tournament for the GPC. This doesn't count towards our overall record, which I will remind you is 0-4. But this week, pretty much what happens is it's division versus division, randomized against each other, and whatever division gets the most wins gets a third playoff spot. So, of course, we get matched up against the Cambuur Zygarden, or Bob, one of the best teams in the entire league. So it's going to be a little of a challenge for us. But I think with the team that we are bringing this week, we can counter most of what the Division A team is like. So pretty much instead of using my own team or Bob's own team, it's an assortment of one Pokemon from each team plus an extra that we chose that we can use ourselves. So for Division A, the team consists of Scizor, Manaphy, Kyurem Black, Raikou, Clefable, Hydreigon, Victini, Conkeldurr, and Breloom. In Division B, Azumarill, Mamoswine, for me it's Mega Sceptile, Suicune, Heliolisk, Skarmory, Azelf, Infernape, and Superior. So we're just going to get right into the team that I brought, and this week I built this team by myself and not with the help of some of the other teams in the league like I usually do. So first off, we have Assault Vest Mamoswine. It's a Pokemon that I love that I just recently got through transfers, and this is an interesting set. So it just has enough speed and special defense to outspeed most of his slower mons, and then maybe tank an HP fighting, an Aura Sphere from a Raikou, and maybe even a Scald from a uninvested Manaphy, maybe. Long shot, but it's still an idea. A fully investment with attack with an adamant nature, so all those physical attacks are doing the maximum amount of damage, and just a little bit in HP just to bulk it out just a little bit more. And of course it's carrying the Earthquake, Iron Head for the Clefable, Icicle Crash for stab, and Ice Shard just for that nice priority. So now we have Choice Scarf and Infernape, which is one of the centerpieces of this team, and I believe the win condition, no matter what team he brings. So pretty much this set is designed to outspeed Choice Scarfed Kyurem Black, and it has just enough attack and special attack to not only one-shot a Scizor with Heat Wave, but to still do a lot of damage to a Clefable, the Hydreigon, and even the Victini with Earthquake. So it's naive nature just to increase that speed so I can outspeed the Kyurem Black, and it's running Earthquake, Heat Wave for that unrecoiled stab, Gunk Shot for the Clefable again, and Close Combat mostly for the Kyurem Black and the Hydreigon. Now, next we have pretty much our lead, a kind of a common set for Azelf, Focus Sash with Stealth Rocks, carrying the Thunder Wave this week to maybe slow down some of his threats, Choice Scarf Victini, Choice Scarfed Hydreigon, Choice Scarf Kyurem Black, stuff like that that might want to sweep the team in there that can outspeed a majority of the team. Now, fully investment in attack, running the Zen Headbutt and Explosion just to maybe catch him off guard, and just enough speed to outspeed naturally a lot of his mons on the team. And of course, just a little bit of HP just to bulk it out, just a tiny bit. And pretty much Stealth Rocks, if I set him up, I set him up. If I can't, that's fine. I just kind of want to get off damage with Azelf and paralyze anything that I can. So next we have Suicune, a little bit of a weird set. And in this one, I maxed out defense and special defense with 4 in special attack and a modest nature. So this week I'm running with Calm Mind, Rest, Miracle, and Scald. Now Miracle's for mostly the Raikou, and that's why I kind of buffed it out in special defense, because I wanted it to be able to take a hit by Raikou, but still be able to not get too damaged by physical attacks. And of course I want Scald to be doing some damage with the Calm Minds up. So it kind of works out that way. And because both its special attack and or special defense and defense are the same base stat, it kind of worked out in the end. So next we have the standard Life Orb, Heliolisk, Thunderbolt, and Hyper Voice for stab purposes. Hidden Power Vire for the Scizor, since we, besides Infernape, we don't have a way of hitting the Scizor for super effective damage. And then Surf for the Victini, just in case Suicune does go down. And of course, max speed, max special attack, modest, because this thing isn't going to outspeed a lot of his choice Scarfers or his really fast Mons, so it can outspeed pretty much everything else that's not going to be Scarfed. And finally, another kind of interesting set. It's more of a physically offensive Skarmory in some ways, while still being the natural bulk that it is. So a little bit in speed again to outspeed some of his slower Mons and get off a lot of damage. Whirlwind just in case he wants to set up the Tail Glow with Manaphy, Swords Dance with Scizor, especially the Calm Minds with Clefable. As you can see, the trend is stopping Clefable, because that thing can be a very huge threat, and has proved to be in this league, this season especially. Defog to get up whatever hazards he wants to set up, Iron Head and Brave Bird especially for the stab, and of course 332, or 232 I mean, in HP, just to bulk it out, just to have, and with that natural defense, it's still very physically bulky no matter what. And of course the Brave Bird for the Conkeldurr and Breloom, and Iron Head mostly for the Kyurem Black, if it can tank a hit, and for the Clefable especially. So that's really the team this week. We're gonna hop into the match, and I'll see you guys after I'm done. Alright guys, back after the match. And now I'm just going to break the match down as I normally do. So first off, I look at his team, and I kind of predicted a lot of these threats. Of course, the Clefable, especially the Kyurem Black, Victini and Manaphy, and the Raikou and the Scizor. These are the most threats that I kind of predicted to show up regardless. I didn't really expect the Breloom or the Conkeldurr, and I didn't really expect the Hydreigon either. So, looking at his team, my first instinct, of course, was to get rocks up. So, as you see, I do lead off with the Heliolisk, actually. And so, this was pretty much, the Heliolisk was just in case he wanted to start out maybe with Manaphy or Clefable. Maybe he wanted to get up his rocks, so I can just dish out damage to it. Now, fearing that this thing is Scarf, I switch out, I go into the Azelf, and he goes for the Focus Blast. So, Azelf eats that up, and he switches into Uzable, the Clefable, and of course I paralyze it, which is still good because now this thing is slow and has the chance to paralyze, which it did in this situation. So he switches out, most likely, and he goes into the Raikou, of course. Now, he said after the game, because this is a very big turning point in the match already. I know it's the 4th turn, but me and Bob were talking after the match, and he said because he brought no levitators or ground resist this game, Air Balloon Raikou was the only thing he had to resist Mamoswine Earthquakes or Infernape Earthquakes. So, getting this Iron Head off on his switch was huge, because now his ground resist is gone, or his ground immunity is gone, so now Mamoswine is free to pretty much spam Earthquake, which does come in play a little bit towards the end. So the Air Balloons pop, doesn't do too much damage, but does just enough. Of course I'm going to switch out, go into the Mamoswine, most likely predicting this. I'm guessing HP fighting, so of course the Assault Vest I did tank it. Now here's the big play. Although it's a crit, pretty sure the crit did not matter, because that was going to do a hell of a lot of damage regardless. Little hacks in my favor, but that's never a bad thing. But that Earthquake did a lot of damage to the Kyurem Black, and that's a big thing, because this thing can pretty much sweep my whole team. So, it was good that I pretty much almost have this thing out of the way already. So, of course, I go for the safe Ice Shard, just in case he does want to stay in and risk me, like, going for an Earthquake and him outspeeding me. But, of course, he does the safe play, switch into the Manaphy. Now, he doesn't predict me to stay in, so he goes for the U-turn. And of course he goes into the Raikou just to sack it off, and I go for the Earthquake, and that's 1 kill for Mamoswine. So of course the only thing he can do is go into the Victini, and I know I have to switch out because this thing can do a lot of damage to me. So of course, predicting that he does go for the Bullet Strike, if I did choose to stay in, that would have been a huge play on my part. Now, this play right here, I go for the Scald, as you'll see right here, and I do get the burn. However, I should have, most likely the best play was to go for the Rest at this point in time, but the thing is, I don't carry Sleep Talk on this thing. It was Calm Mind, Scald, Mirror Coat, and Rest. So, I couldn't really afford to waste a spot on Sleep Talk. So, the good thing is I did get the burn on it, so chip damage is always a great thing. So, of course, I kind of want to let this thing just get sacked off. There's no point in leaving it around. Although it's my big wall, this is going to prove to be a big knockout in his favor. So of course I go into Heliolisk because it's going to outspeed a lot of his team. And of course I just go for the safe Thunderbolt because nothing really wants to take a Life Orb Thunderbolt from a modest Heliolisk. So again, a crit. Of course crit didn't matter as you saw. And I take out the big threat that I prepared for in Clefable. Now I do outspeed the Victini, which was big because I did get a lot of damage off, because I did calc it earlier, and Earthquake from a Infernape from a Choice Scarf Infernape does around 60%. So me getting the Surf off is huge, meaning I can maybe have a late game sweep with Infernape to maybe clean up the game. So of course he's going to decimate me with the V-Creep, but at least this tells me now that this thing is not Scarfed. So I go into the Infernape knowing this, and of course, as you see, Earthquake, of course, the crit didn't matter in this situation either. And now, because I know this is my win condition, I have to switch out and just sack off the Azelf. But of course, he goes for the Tail Glow. Now this is very scary. And of course, I do outspeed, but the Zen Headbutt missed. So right now, I'm scared, because this thing is +2 and can pretty much hit both Infernape and Mamoswine for super effective damage and do a lot of damage to a physically invested Skarmory. So I'm kind of fearing at this point of the match right now, because although we're tied, this thing can pretty much sweep my team. He's Earthquake, Gunk Shot, none of it will do enough. So so of course the burn takes a toll. I go into Skarmory. Now I do activate the Sturdy, which is great, and I go for the Brave Bird. Now, while I do sack off the Skarmory, with the burn damage, it will be enough for Ice Shard to knock it out. So I switch into the Mamo, and I should have predicted this switch in the Scizor, and I should have gone for the Earthquake, but I go for the safe Ice Shard again, of course, but the Bull Punch is just going to take me out. Now this is when Choice Scarf Infernape has to come through. This is why I carried the Heat Wave. Now, because this thing is at 5% the Mana Fee, and Kieran Black is part Ice type, a Heat Wave will knock out both. And I did calc it. The Heat Wave will, of course, knock out this Scizor easily. So it's just a matter of Heat Wave missing or hitting. So he switches out. He switches into the Mana Fee. Now, either way, this thing would have died by burn. He just wanted to see what move I was going to lock myself into. Now, at this point in the match, he doesn't know I'm Scarfed. This is when he realizes I'm Scarfed, because I outspeed Scarf Kyurem, and I just needed to hit one more time, and it connects, and we finally get that first win of the season. Now, it's not official, but what are you going to do about it? It was still a great match. Bob's a great player. Although he didn't have his team that he drafted, and he had to use some other people's Pokemon he might not be as familiar with than his own team, it was still a very, very close match. As I said in my team building video, or in the team building part of the video, Scarf Infernape was my ticket to win, and it turned out exactly to play out the way I wanted it to. This is a huge win, although it's not going to go down on paper as a win. I think this is a nice confidence boost and a nice starting point to how we can end this season. 3 more games left. Let's just finish out on a 4-game win streak or official 3-game win streak and at least get the 5th place in our division. So that's going to be it. Bob's channel and Twitter and all that fun stuff will be down in the description below as per usual. Next week the season kicks right back up to where it last started. Geez, words. Week 5, and we will be playing the Orlando Helix or Jesse. That video will be up, of course, on Friday, as all the videos are. And I guess I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the lovey-dovey fun stuff. And I will see you guys next week. Peace out.